What's up, boys? Welcome back to another game of AlphaStar. Today we're going to be having a look at the Terran agent, who I've watched a couple of replays I haven't been too impressed by. But we'll have a look how he does against his Protoss opponent, who's opting to go for a low ground pylon. So, going for that low ground Reaper wall. Of course, this is an older map, Cyber Fortress, not in the map pool anymore. There's no entry into the main base for the Reaper, so the only real entrance that there is this little low ground. So if you manage to block that off, there's no way for the Reaper to get into your main base unless it takes the main ramp from the natural and then walks into the main base. We see a gate scout coming out of our Protoss player. Meanwhile, AlphaStar opening up with barracks before gas. Probably one of the most common TVP openers at the moment, which will play Reaper into Marine and a factory and reactor. It's a rather safe opener, does well against core before Nexus builds as well, and gets faster scouting. Reaper is out 3-4 seconds faster than with gas first. However, it does delay your factory by a solid 15 to 20 seconds, so all of your attacks, whether that be a mine drop or Hellion run-bys, will be a little bit later, and just your factory units are out later. So a little bit less good on the aggressive side, but very powerful defensively. We do see a Reaper come out. Oh, this SCV almost dies, but does not quite. Oh, SCV does die, so GrandMaster player does manage to beat the SCV micro of AlphaStar there. He's trying to play some tricks on himself. This is a very weird move by the Protoss player. Usually you don't really want to get into your opponent's base after 140. I understand why he did it. If there's no command center at around 140 in game, you kind of want to know, hey, what's up? Like, why is there no command center? What's happening here? AlphaStar completely forgetting that this probe exists. Will go scouting around for the probe, even though he just saw him walk into the main base. Not paying attention on the minimap. I guess the moment he will get attacked, he will... I guess he has the Marine to take care of this. Alright, so he did play pretty much a standard barracks Reaper Marine factory. Goes into reactor, most likely will be, if he completely follows the standard, this should be reactor Marines with 2-3 mines, single medevac drop into 2 extra barracks. That's the most common follow-up from barracks first at the moment. Extremely safe. The ability to do damage, you can hold basically any all-in that your opponent will throw at you. So I'm curious to see what AlphaStar will do. Now our opponent is following his Adept up with a Sentry and a Twilight Council, which means this is a fast blink build, most likely with hallucination from the Sentry to scout. We also see this Adept managing to pick off an SCV building the command center. Probe finally did die in the main base, and we see a reactor factory, which is very rare. Usually you never see a reactor factory from a barracks gas opener, because like I said, it just delays your factory unit. These first 2 Hellions, if you play gas first, would be out at 302, 301, 303. Which means this kind of Adept move would be way more dangerous. You're on the opponent's side way faster. There's probably only 2 units instead of 3. So this is a very odd one. If you play gas first, you could be over here already with 4 Hellions by now, but because this was a barracks first, he's just too late to do any real damage. Loses 2 Hellions for free as well, trying to move in. Next 2 Hellions come, and let's see. Well, this should not really do anything, I believe. Yeah, still good hold position here by our GrandMaster player, who just kills 4 Hellions for free, which is a little interesting. Viking follow-up, which makes very little sense. He didn't scout the second pylon with the Twilight Council, AlphaStar that is. So maybe he was afraid of an Oracle opener, but just getting a blind Viking is extremely rare. You really never see that. You just want to either get a medevac or you want to get a Raven, or I guess if you're going Banshee, you want to go straight into Banshee. So this is a very odd play indeed. Now, we do see a bunker and a weird place depot as well coming out of AlphaStar. Bunker is a little far back, will not really be covering the ramp whatsoever. Our Protoss player is opting for a 3-gate Stalker. I think the final 2 Hellions went in here, managed to kill 2 workers. While this Viking flies across the map, probably to do some harass in this mineral line. Vikings do shot two-shot probes, so it's a good harassment tool. The problem is if there's more than one unit in position, you basically lose your Viking. Luckily for AlphaStar, the Grandmaster player has no units in position whatsoever, so this Viking might be able to do some damage. Meanwhile, we have the Blink, well, what is this? A Blink all-in going on. Banshee being intercepted, so first Banshee will go down before Cloak finishes, and here comes, well, how many stalkers is this? 10 stalkers forward. Picks up a couple of them. This is not the greatest blink, honestly. I much would have preferred him blink into the main base rather than into the natural. He lost about 5 stalkers there, does kill 2 tanks, but once the third tank arrives, I mean, this should be a pretty easy hold for AlphaStar. This is almost a build order win for AlphaStar, I believe, because he decided not to add extra barracks and just continue tank production, continue starport production. Grandmaster player right now also lost the prism, so this is an extremely good situation here for AlphaStar, completely negating this attack. Well, if the Grandmaster player gets this Banshee as well, it would be nice. No, not paying attention. Instead was busy microing these stalkers, getting as many SCV kills as possible. We'll lose another stalker to this bunker as he goes into the natural mineral line. Now what do we have in the main base? We have 3 stalkers there. Do we have any observers on this side of the map? I don't think we do, which means this Banshee should be able to get some damage done at least. We have another observer on the way being chrono boosted out. Still a couple of stalkers trying to do some damage. But this, I mean, this shouldn't really work. There's 2 tanks out. Finally, the 2 extra barracks go down. Oh, wow. He does actually get this. This Banshee loses half HP on the stalker. AlphaStar right now just moving around his base. Will be able to get this 1 stalker, but unsiege tanks against stalkers are... They do okay damage, but... I mean... He only lost 1 stalker there, killing a Banshee and a tank. Definitely a good trade for the Grandmaster player. But Grandmaster player still a little bit behind of AlphaStar. There's no upgrades on the way. His eco is worse. Even though the worker count is equal, because of the how orbital command works, you can see that the income is about 600-700 minerals per minute higher for AlphaStar than it is for the Grandmaster player. Now we see 3 adepts moving forward. As well as a big blink into the main base, managing to cancel this barracks. Tanks are sieging up, trying to defend his infrastructure, but Grandmaster player is doing a good job delaying stim and combat shield. As you can see, every time the tech labs get sniped, there will be no stim or combat shield, and this is already an extremely late combat shield. Usually, if you play triple CC, stim and combat shield would be done about 40 seconds ago, and this guy played just double CC, and he still hasn't even had a tech lab finished on one of his Rexes. Another tank shelling away at these stalkers. Pretty poor micro by the Grandmaster player. Not too sure what this guy's MMR is, but he seems rather slow at the responses. Now, while all of this is going on, we basically have continuous Banshee production and Banshee harass. So a lot of workers have gone down. As you can see, he killed, AlphaStar killed 15 units so far, and he's gonna get a couple more as there's another Banshee flying across the map. On top of that, he's also proxying as command center, which is a rather weird play. You don't really see this from Terrans all that much. Oh, these stalkers are doing so much damage. This is like the 3rd time they cancel these barracks. And AlphaStar just keeps continuing tank production. Right now there's a Raven on the way. This Banshee flying straight into pylon vision, so Grandmaster player should be able to deal with this if he pays attention. No, he is not paying attention. Once again paying attention to these stalkers, doing some minor damage while getting major damage himself over here. 3 workers going down, full worker pool from the mineral line. AlphaStar didn't finally manage to set up this base. Also ahead in upgrades, but upgrades for your infantry aren't that useful if your army consists of 6 tanks and Banshees. He's still only on a single barracks, absolutely terrible production. No second upgrade on the way yet, no extra production. Oh, here we go again. Oh wait. He's actually opting to go for mech now after building barracks 2 and 3 about 5 times. It's like, you know what? This ain't gonna work no more. Let's get some more tanks. I already have plenty. So right now he has 1 attack upgrade on his marines. No upgrades on his tanks whatsoever, and he will be going into mech. So this is one of the weirdest transitions I've seen in my life, quite honestly. Banshee production continues once again as well. And Grandmaster player should be able to catch this if he pays attention. Oh, there comes the cloak. Does get the cloak off, which is nice. Now this is an absolutely insane attack if he goes through with it. I mean, you see that the Terran player is on 2 bases. There's absolutely no reason for you to attack into a 2-base Terran when you're on 3 bases yourself. There's no prism with this either. There is a secondary harass force which should be able to do some damage into the main base of AlphaStar, but honestly this attack is completely insane. I have no clue why you would attack into a 2-base Terran while you're on 3 base yourself, fully saturated on that third. So even though AlphaStar basically has been producing from 3 production facilities all game long, we still see he has a way bigger army than his opponent, because his opponent is doing some interesting stuff as well himself. Protoss is going up to 6 gas right now, so should be going into that heavy Templar tech. Where's that Templar archives? I saw it built. Yes, here it is. Hyperflight Rotas as well as +1 vehicle weapons on the way. And we have our first move out here by AlphaStar, which honestly should be pretty tricky. Actually, is it tricky to deal with? It's only 8 tanks and 8 marines. There's no Hellions to tank, there's no marines to tank, there's no mines to tank, there's no cyclones. So the moment you get on top of the tanks, you basically kill this army. Pure Zealot should be able to deal with this, and then afterwards warp in 6-7 Stalkers to deal with the Banshees. But yeah, I mean, this just gets completely flanked by the Protoss, and 8 tanks just disappear. AlphaStar have been building this army for such a long time, and now it just dies for free basically. We see no real production starting. Here we go. Some mines being built, as well as extra tanks and a Hellion out of the factories with Tech Lab, which is weird. This base still going on unscouted, and we see a fort base on the way as well right now. So they're trying to take down that fort base, did not quite work. And here comes the Protoss with another attack. There's 4 tanks right now. I'm not a fan of the Stalker warp in, but I feel like the Protoss should just kind of be able to walk over this. I mean, all the tanks are in the front. There's no SimCity whatsoever. Once the Zealots get on top of the tanks, this game just honestly looks completely over. Prism barely managed to survive. One more warp in of Stalkers or Zealots, and I feel like this game that's pretty much it, no? I mean, what does AlphaStar have? He has almost no production, only 3 production facilities at 12 minutes in game. And he's pulling the SCVs, which is nice, but there's no way that's gonna be enough against, you know, this is probably an 8-gate Protoss, a 6-gate Protoss. Like, you're gonna need way more SCVs. Trying to fight with the Zealots won't be able to do the job. Tank comes out, another tank pops, but every time a new warp in arrives, it just becomes harder and harder for AlphaStar. Work count plummeting to 38 right now. Really, the majority of the workers is on this base right now. As the GrandMaster Protoss player managed to completely annihilate the economy of the natural and the fort base of AlphaStar. 5 Stalkers continue doing a lot of damage. And I mean, at this point, this game is pretty much over. The Protoss player can just keep on expanding if he wants to, or well, he should keep on expanding. Take out this base, make sure this base can't mine, and then perhaps scout for a proxy base. Because really the only reason AlphaStar is still in this game is because he has this base. As you can see, his income still is higher than the Protoss player. So unless the Protoss player deals with this base, he's actually gonna be behind in a couple of minutes again. But he managed to deal with this base, which, as you can see, does slow down the income of AlphaStar a lot. I would love to see a 4th base at this point. The main is running rather low. Natural is running low. 3rd still is rather healthy. A couple of 100 minerals on each patch left. But this base should definitely be taken. We do have our Protoss being overly aggressive, I feel like. Just constantly pushing into a 2-base Terran, which is very unnecessary. I wonder how he does not realize that there's a proxy base. I mean, if I see my opponent without a base at 14 minutes playing mech, like, I feel like you need to realize that something weird is going on. He sees an SCV come from the top right now, and yeah, this does trigger the Stalker Scout. Will be able to find that base, and once this base is found, I don't really see any future in this game no more for AlphaStar. AlphaStar trying to push down, some Archon harass going on in his natural as well. But should not be able to do too much. 2 tanks moving out, get picked up for free basically immediately by the Immortals. Archons come back in. There is hyperflight rotors on those Banshees, so they're extremely quick. But I mean, it's just not gonna be enough, is it? We finally see that the Protoss player does realize that there is a third base up here, so he'll be sending his zealots over there to try and deal with that. Meanwhile, AlphaStar lands into 2 Immortals and 3 Stalkers. Won't be losing this quite, I believe, but it's actually getting pretty low right now. He should not be landing that anymore. If you just right-click, you might actually be able to get this orbital command as well, which was the main orbital command for zealots cleaning up the top base, which means that right now AlphaStar is effectively mining off of 4 mineral patches, of which 2 are about to disappear as well, as there's only 40 minerals left. So really almost nothing left for AlphaStar. You see another tank move out, which, I mean, at this point I guess makes some kind of sense, because you need to do something desperate. Archons absolutely destroying everything on the ground in combination with the Archons, in combination with the Immortals, excuse me. And tanks might be able to shell away the units that are here, but once a new warp in arrives, whether that be 6 new zealots or I believe even Stalkers should be fine. I just don't see any way for AlphaStar to ever win this. He will not be able to move across the map with this army. There's only 4 tanks and 8, 9 Marines maybe. Single Hellbat. I mean, I don't understand why AlphaStar is taking this base right now. He only has 16 workers. Like, he can't possibly be believing that he's gonna win this game if he just continues going on the same way he's been doing. He needs to do something right now, but apparently there's no desperation move that he is aware of. Well, I'm aware of it. It's called pooling the boys, where you pull all your SCVs and just go with the tanks and the Marines. Sadly, that's not what we're seeing here, as AlphaStar is just gonna die a slow and painful death, basically. It's just a sitting duck, truly. Just keeps getting abused again and again by this Protoss, who's still only on 6 gate, which is rather poor, honestly. Very surprised that he hasn't added 1 or 2 gates, gone up higher in worker count as well. I mean, still only on 60 workers. His income has been really, really poor. I've been complaining about AlphaStar, but the Protoss hasn't been playing to hold himself either. Good blink forward, will be able to snipe out basically all of these tanks, and I mean, this game is completely over. As this base falls, I see no more chances for AlphaStar to win this game. Actually, for the past 5 minutes, I haven't seen any chance for AlphaStar to win this game, but now even AlphaStar needs to realize that this is truly over. He's going to be lifting his buildings. Oh my god, are you joking? Just like a real Terran, already whining. Fantastic. Rallies Banshees. Oh. GG's out, or well, doesn't GG, but I believe he does say GG every game, and our GrandMaster Protoss manages to win the game. So the Terran AlphaStar feels a lot worse than the Protoss AlphaStar. Doesn't feel very tight. Proxying a base as a Terran is a bit meh. As Protoss usually is, can very easily scout around the map, no real problem. Initial defense was bad. Extra barracks were too late. Weird factory tech switch. I mean, this whole game was just honestly kind of low level. I'm not very impressed by the way that AlphaStar plays, but you know, he's trying, and he did manage to get somewhere around 5.5k with his Terran as well. So there has to be some merit to what he does, but if there's any merit to the things he does, I don't think it has anything to do with strategy, as his strategy seemed to be absolute garbage. Whether it was the Protoss agent or the Terran agent, I think most of his wins come from pure harassment and execution of the early game build order, perhaps. But I don't really see anything else that makes him a very distinctive player. Alright, that will be it for me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube, leave a comment or click the thumbs up, and I'll see you boys next time. Bye bye.